ahead and get started. Okay. Thank you. Hafaday, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. The public hearing by the Committee on Housing, Utilities, Public Safety, and Homeland Security is now called to order. It is now 14:04 for the record, and in accordance with 5 GCA Chapter 8, subsection 8107, notices were sent out via email to all senators and all main media broadcasting outlets on April 14, 2017. And the second notice on April 18, 2017. With me today are Senators Regine Biscoli and Senator Will Castro. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to read the resolution that we are having this public hearing on, and essentially this addresses the Fukushima Daiichi power plant nuclear accident, and this was a grave concern for me. We're trying to take a proactive approach to the possible impacts of contaminated fish that is going through our ports and also within our coastal and marine areas. So I'm just going to read from the resolution. Relative to expressing the support of I Mina'Trenta Kua na Liheslaturan Gua to advocate for government officials and scientists to monitor coastal zones on Guam and Micronesia from the possible downstream effects of the Fukushima Daiichi power plant nuclear accident, and to establish working sessions to assess the safety of and risk of radiation seafood products from the Pacific Ocean. Be it resolved by I Mina'Trenta Kua Liheslaturan Gua, whereas a catastrophic 9.0 earthquake followed by a devastating tsunami struck Japan on March 11, 2011. The combined impact of the earthquake and tsunami led to the loss of power, safety containment, and overheating at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plants, causing extensive releases of radioactive gases and liquids into the coastal ocean, causing one of the world's most detrimental nuclear accidents. And whereas a much more highly radioactive 300-ton leak occurred in 2013 from a poorly constructed storage tank, nuclear expert Michael Schneider in August 2013 stated, "It is leaking out from the basements, it is leaking out from the cracks all over the place. It is much worse than we have led to believe." And whereas we recognize the significance of distance from Fukushima, Japan, at coordinates of 37.7503 degrees north and 140.4676 degrees east, upstream on the North Pacific subtropical gyre to Guam and Micronesia. And whereas massive quantities of marine debris from the 2011 Japan earthquake and tsunami have been reported off of the west coast of Kalalau, coast of Kauai, on November 30, 2013. And whereas in order to monitor harmful radiological consequences in our region, government officials and scientists should work together to monitor for any radioactive impact on local sea life and water quality, and prevent irreversible health and safety consequences that could affect generations to come. And whereas we must begin a proactive approach in ensuring the safety of our seafood, one of our staple foods for survival here on Guam. Resolved, government officials and scientists perform regular testing and inform us as to whether radiation levels remain below those recorded before March 11, 2011, and therefore be it. Resolved, government officials and scientists are requested to commence testing to Pacific Ocean seafood products landed on Guam to be reported to the public and neighboring jurisdictions. Therefore be it resolved that I Mina'Trenta Kua na Liheslaturan Gua requests working sessions with Guam officials, regional officials, experts in the scientific, health, and radiation community, as well as consumer advocates to begin a balanced, open, and honest public radiation safety debate and dialogue based on minimum monthly local Pacific Ocean seafood testing. And be it resolved that I Mina'Trenta Kua na Liheslaturan Gua request Guam and regional officials to provide timely information to the public regarding any elevated risks from seafood and other products, and to educate our regional residents regarding specific threats of radiation exposure, and be it resolved, does hereby, on behalf of the people, express the support of I Mina'Trenta Kua na Liheslaturan Gua to advocate for government officials and scientists to monitor our coastal zones on Guam and Micronesia from the possible effects of the Fukushima Daiichi Powerplant nuclear accident, and to establish working sessions to assess the safety of and risk of radiation in seafood products from the Pacific Ocean, and be it further resolved that the Speaker certify and the Legislature Secretary attest to the adoption hereof, and that copies of the same be thereafter transmitted to the members of the Association of Pacific Island Legislatures, to the Honorable Ralph de Leon Guerrero Torres, Governor of Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, to the Honorable President Peter M. Christian, President Federated States of Micronesia, to the Honorable Hilda Hine, President Republic of Marshall Islands, to the Honorable Tommy Rangasao, President Republic of Palau, to Mr. Matthew Sablan, Director, Guam Department of Agriculture, to Dr. A. Underwood, President, University of Guam, to the Honorable Madeline Z. Berdalio, Member of Congress, U.S. House of Representatives, and to the Honorable Edward J. B. Calvo, Imagalan Guahan. So just as a little history, I went to Japan, and I spoke with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Defense Ministry, and I inquired on this, the impact on the Fukushima power plant. And they gave us some interesting results as far as the testing they have done throughout the years. And in their similar words, to summarize, they believe that the food that is being consumed within Japan is safe to eat. And so, that just doesn't rest well with me, because tides change, waters move, and so even though they say that the radiation leaks are not as bad as it were, and it's actually rather safe, the water just doesn't sit in one area in the ocean. And so I wrote this resolution also hoping to have a collaboration and partnership with our CNMI and FSM partners, and to start beginning dialogue and information sharing, and also to begin our own independent testing here on Guam with what I'd like to see is perhaps some radiological testing for the longliners that come dock at our shore, that we can test some core samples of the fish. Also, with the fish markets, some samples there here on island, and along with Fishermen's Co-op. So I did meet with Fishermen Co-op, and they did express their concern about possibly the impact on the sales of the fish, the market of the fish, the revenue that they received. But in their words, they are supportive of this measure. And I'd like to thank Isa Baza and Mr. Walden for coming. If you'd like to give testimony, could you please come forward and have a seat? Yeah, thank you. Yes. And then there's a button you can press right there. Thank you, sir. And please just introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background of who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman Nelson. My name is Walden Wellbacker, and I'm with the Association of Pacific Island Legislatures. I'm their current Central Secretariat. We have 12 member governments, legislatures, who are members of APIL. And when I received this invitation, I forwarded to our officers, and they asked that I come forward to give you the APIL support and support of your resolution. And we will be holding our General Assembly in June, and we would like to take this up to our members and to resolution as a whole to support this as well. And I know this is really a big concern for the region through Micronesia and our Northern Pacific as well. And food safety is very important. Seafood is one of our daily intakes, our diet for us Micronesians and the Pacific Islands. And I think what you're doing is very important to make aware of this situation here. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Walden. Would any of my colleagues have any questions or?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you very much, Mr. Wellbecker, for being here, for joining us this afternoon. I think this resolution is timely. We are celebrating Earth Day, I believe, tomorrow, and we just wrapped up the University of Guam's Center for Island Sustainability Conference throughout this entire week, and there were a number of issues raised with regard to, some with regard to food safety, but just how can we be more sustainable in our thinking and making sure that we are taking care of our natural resources. So I just want to commend the author, but also thank you so much, and also thank APAIL for being at the forefront of this issue and to make sure that this is not a Guam issue. This is not a just a Marianas issue, but a regional issue that all of us in Oceania should be aware of. And the more information and data that we have at our disposal to just be aware of the risks and potentially mitigate those risks, I think will help to inform our communities and keep our communities safe. So thank you very much for your time and your testimony, and I just want to thank the author. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'd like to take the opportunity to commend the author of the resolution for stressing and underscoring the importance of our vital marine resources. I agree with you, Walden, that one can never be too certain when it comes to the health and safety of protecting our people and natural resources. In addition to this being a human and safety and a matter of life, I think you highlighted the importance also, Madam Chair. It's inferred in the resolution in terms of the economic security and food security associated with our vital fisheries. As Mr. Wilbacher can tell, probably knows even greater than I do, that the tuna industry is a $6 billion industry in the Western Pacific alone, in the Pacific Rim. So I think this resolution speaks well to complementing the efforts already underway to express to the United States government the importance to sustain, if not increase, federal funding for each of our respective resource agencies, Guam EPA, Department of Agriculture, and BSP. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senators. Mr. Wellbecker, again, thank you so much for coming today. This issue is not really talked about much, right? You don't see it unless something catastrophic comes, and then they're like, oh, okay, there's something wrong down with this radiological leak. And so I'd like to take a proactive approach, and really we cannot do it alone. We do need the help of our neighboring island partners, and of course with APIL to really help move this instrument along to protect the interests of the people that reside in these islands and within these coastal areas. So I'm very honored to have you here and speak on this behalf. So thank you very much, sir, and have a good day.
Thank you very much. And whatever information that you have on your resources available, please share with my office, and I'll make sure that I go ahead and forward to the other members who will be on the same page on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We just have one more question, Senator Lee.
I apologize, Madam Chair. Mr. Wellbecker, you mentioned a General Assembly for APIL in June. Are there any other issues relating to this topic that will be brought up at that General Assembly meeting that you're aware of? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if you've compiled the agenda yet for that meeting, but...
The theme of our General Assembly is our marine resources, our future, and we'll have presenters there talking about how we can control or monitor fisheries in the region, how we can use technology to advance our knowledge and who's fishing in our waters, who's taking our fish without licenses. So this is one way of making sure that we maximize on our resources. As well as we'll be talking about different small farm aquaculture projects in the region, in the marine resources area. And also we'll be talking about, there's some presenters, experts, be talking to us about seabed mining, to do a responsible seabed mining in case, someday in the future, something that the islands would like to do.
Okay,
Thank you.
Sujusmasi, thank you so much, and thanks again, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for attending and for showing interest. It is now 2:18. The Committee on Housing, Utilities, and Public Safety now calls this meeting to adjourn. Thank you.